Go. Yay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar with our special guest, Manusha Susingi. Manusha is a very good friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, but also a respected colleague, whether it be as a teacher or as a performer. I've had the pleasure of performing and touring with Manusha, and I've seen her sing, and she is an absolute powerhouse singer. I mean, she will tear that stage down and just so full of love. But she has also more than 10 years of experience as a pedagogue. She is also a TED speaker, which is no small feat. What I love about Manusha is that she has dedicated herself to the transformation of other singers. And I think that's something to be commended, especially in a time when a lot of people are I think, very selfish at the moment. But I wanted to give this opportunity for you all to get to meet her and hopefully work with her because who hasn't dealt with stage fright, right? Stage fright can be a little bit, well, frightening, quite frankly. So I'm not going to blah, blah, blah more than that. I'm going to hand this right over to Manusha Susingi. Manusha, let's give her a round of applause. Wait, I do want to say just a couple quick things. If you can keep your video on, it just makes for a better time for everybody. If you can avoid, coming and going because that's a little distracting. So, just try to make sure you take these next 90 minutes to really focus in on Manusha and give her your full attention. I think you'll get the most out of this. Can we do this? Can we do our group photo? It's always nice to do a group photo so we can always use that photo and show people what they missed. So, hey, Ketty, how you doing? Would you guys mind coming on camera? That would be great if you could come on camera.
Yes, we would.
Yes, but hi everybody.
Hey,
I'm
Ketty.
just looking for. There is a camera problem. I don't know. There is a problem with my camera.
Oh,
Um, Let me solve this like real quick. Um,
I still don't hear anything from
oh,
Mamo. I don't
continue.
know who Mamo is, but Mamo, est-ce que vous pouvez mettre votre caméra?
mhm. No feedback from Maman.
No. Do you have another name for that person? Or?
Ketty just stepped in from another
Oh, okay.
sort of device. I
Doesn't
think
work.
yeah, in order to solve. Well, hey, we see you.
Hi.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we can go with a group photo.
Yeah, you might want to get rid of the other Ketty then, I guess, so it doesn't
Exactly.
feedback, and then we'll do our little group photo. Great. Here we go. Everybody
Okay.
make put on your best face.
Yes, a nice little smile.
Get the, cheese out of your teeth.
So, wait a minute. Where's that app thing? Okay, I'll just do a regular screenshot. Let's go. Cheese.
Cheese.
Women are always ready. Yay.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Yes. Great. Done. Yeah, thank you so very much for joining. My name is Minusha. Government name Susungi, artist name Muziki, because yeah, I like to let people know what I stand for in the name. And why I'm doing this workshop, it is very simple. That is something that I've dealt with a lot, that I still deal with till this day. But the difference is that I've just learned how to reframe my story and transform these minutes of high anxiety into something that helps me actually perform, you see? So here's what we'll do. I'm gonna start by sharing my screen. You let me know if you see it. If you see, 2 seconds. Right. So, do you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Great. So, here's what I'd like us to do. I would like each and every one of us to pick one word that describes us, that describes how we feel before performing. And when I say before performing, it can be anything from 2 hours before to 5 minutes before. So I'm gonna go first and say I virtually feel traumatized. So I'll just let each and every one of us to unmute and say just one word. What is it that you feel when you experience music performance anxiety or just flat on performance anxiety?
I'll say mine. I say scared excited. Scared and excited. Scared
Scared and
excited.
excited. Okay, let's say 2 words. It can be two, 3 words. Feel free.
But it's together, it's both.
It's scared and excited in one word.
Scared excited, right.
Great. Okay. Who wants to come on first? Kitty, maybe?
Shake excited.
Shaky excited. I love that. I love that. And you, Sandra?
Euh, je comprends pas trop bien l'anglais. Alors, mais c'est pas grave,
Il n'y a pas de souci. Je peux de temps en temps switcher en français.
mais
Donc, je
c'était quoi
demandais,
la question?
voilà, la question, c'est quel est le mot qui décrit le mieux comment tu te sens avant une représentation?
Pétrifié.
She feels petrified. Petrified. That's a strong word. That means you can't shake. You're like a stone, and that's very strong. Yes. By the way, I was gonna say I didn't precise that the workshop is mostly going to be in English, but from time to time I'm gonna switch to French for those people that need
I
some
actually
English things.
I did make that precision in my
Oh, okay,
message.
okay.
And so just pour info, Sandra, on pense à voir si on va peut-être pas faire un autre en français s'il y a assez de demandes parce que j'avais précisé ça lors des emails, mais c'est pas grave, on va faire au mieux, OK?
Oui, oui,
Ça
oui, mais
marche.
j'écoute, il y a des mots que je comprends, mais je comprends pas tout. Mais...
Pas de souci. No problem at all. Ouais,
Mm.
super. Alicia, tell us.
Mm, Often mixed, nervous, and excited. I like your scatty sided, Monique.
Nervous and excited. Et toi, Sylvia? You have to unmute. Faudrait-tu encore en sourdine? Ouais.
Ah oui, j'avais pas vu, pardon.
Pas de souci.
J'avais écrit, I wrote down stressed, but I wanted all to say bouche sèche. Enfin, quand on a,
Dry
quand
mouth.
on, yes,
Dry
dry
mouth.
mouth.
Dry mouth. Yeah. We're gonna see typical responses classified in 4 groups. We're gonna get into those details. Great. Olga, how do you feel
I'm
before a
feeling
workshop?
shaking, out of control vibrato, and afraid of forgetting lyrics. I'm sorry, it's three, but this is the most, yeah, which yeah, have a problem with. That's
Yeah.
I'm shaking so much,
Mhm.
feel stress, and I'm afraid that I will forget because of it the lyrics. And this is completely uncontrollable breath and vibrato. That's my
Oh,
problem.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a typical one. I have to admit that these are some symptoms that I'm familiar with, so I understand you. I understand you. Great. Um, Sandy, I'm not sure if we already spoke about your description. No, we didn't. Tell us, tell us.
Well, most of all, I'm very excited, and it's always that after the performance, I'm glad that I did it. But right before, I would say half a day before, I'm I get mixed feelings between looking forward to it and wanting to chicken out and saying, okay, I'm canceling the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's mostly in the recent times, it's mostly have been for jam sessions
Hmm.
where I just show up and play with a band that I've never played before.
Hmm.
And so there is a lot of uncertainty because you haven't really practiced together. And often I just want to chicken out and say, I'm leaving it. And yeah, that's one of the main feelings that I have.
Yeah, that's very widespread. Thank you very much for sharing. How about Maman? We love to see your face, by the way. Would you like to share with us how you feel before?
I don't know. I think Mamo is missing in action, so we can just
Okay.
probably move on.
All right. Okay, so let's move on. So to let you know about what we're going to do today, we'll start by demystifying um, music. Every time, everywhere you see MPA, that stands for music performance anxiety. So we're going to demystify it. We're going to reframe, and you're going to understand why I say reframe and not eliminate. Because there's a particular process in this. Not everything you're experiencing is negative. So we're going to also speak about how it's important how you manage the after of a performance because it defines the next performance. It defines your responses on the next performance. So that's what we're going to go through very shortly. We're going to share experiences of how what are what are the things we picked up from this session. If you will share your story and share if you have questions, we'll have time for that. And since we're speaking of performance anxiety, I would find it great to have a moment where some of us are bold enough to jump and perform because it's a practical thing. We're going through the methods, we're preparing for a performance. And let's take this as a rehearsal in a safe space, not in the comfort zone because we don't want to be comfortable, we want to grow. So we're rehearsing to do this in a safe space so that you know what to do when the actual event occurs. Okay? So are we done with that? If we're done with that, please send me some reactions, write down in the chat, yeah, thumbs up. And so I know we're all on the same wavelength. So let's move into the mechanisms. First of all, I want to tell you a story. It's my experience of let's say in this event, I had the biggest occurrence of performance anxiety. That was in 2023. It was on the 7th of May. And I'm part of this collective that does a tribute show for Aretha Franklin. So we are not only booked in the legendary Olympia Hall in Paris, but we are booked exactly on the same date when Aretha Franklin performed in Paris, and that was her unique European appearance in 1968. So um, you can imagine what kind of pressure all of the singers experience. Most of us, we grew up admiring her, and now we get to perform on the same stage where she performed. And there's some sort of anxiety where we ask ourselves if we're going to deliver. This is a place where the greats perform, so they expect greatness, they expect excellence. It's the Paris crowd. The Paris crowd is very well served with the best of the best. So the the anxiety that I felt was at the height. And here's why I didn't have an advantage. Because I was not only a singer, I was the host of the show. I did not have the luxury to break down in tears of excitement or anxiety like the other singers because I'm the first that goes on stage and sets the tone, not only for the singers, but also for the audience. I'm letting the audience know this is what you're about to receive. I'm the thermostat of the whole thing, so I can't break. The I think I experienced all four responses I'm going to tell you about. It was really strong. I'm really thankful for this experience because it really enabled me to really have a zoom on what I was experiencing and start really thinking of how to deal with it and how I can teach my students how to deal with such strong feelings. Sandra, je vais vite résumer pour toi. Là,
Mhm.
j'ai parlé j'avais besoin de parler de mon expérience avec disons, une tribute show pour la grande Aretha Franklin, où j'ai eu ma plus forte expérience du track. Pas seulement parce que je suis chanteuse, mais aussi parce que euh, j'étais la modératrice, l'animatrice de la soirée. C'est moi qui donne le coup d'envoi, c'est moi qui, comment dire, qui déroule le tapis rouge pour tout le monde, mais je n'ai pas le droit de me laisser aller à ces sentiments parce que c'est moi qui ouvre tout. Donc, cette expérience m'a appris à mieux gérer mon trac et m'a donné les clés pour enseigner aux autres sur comment gérer le trac. Donc, we're going to move on now. And this is a quote that I really love from a German psychiatrist called Fritz Perls. Anxiety is excitement without breath. You remember I said we're not talking about eliminating anxiety. Anxiety is some sort of energy that needs direction. Are you going to go through the path of panic, or are you going to reframe the whole thing and use tools to transform this energy into that fuel you're going to use to bam the crowd? You see? So let's do this. I'd like to start by telling you you're not alone. Look at these statistics. They are very alarming. So that's a study from a paper called Frontiers in Psychology, and it's a recent one, 2023. 96% of musicians say they felt performance anxiety at least sometimes. And from all the 96, 88% believe it adversely affected their performance. This is a very pressing topic. We're not alone. We're a whole village of people dealing with that kind of fear, and don't feel like you're a unicorn. That's basically the the message I want to send to you through these statistics. So here's what we're gonna do. We debunk, we demystify, we want to understand what's happening. What is the process? Where does it start? Where does it finish? Or how does it evolve? So it starts with a trigger. The trigger can be anything from you're being called on stage. It can be you're looking at the microphone. It can be the fact that you actually see the crowd from the audience. That's a trigger for me. And that's when an organ in your brain called the amygdala sends an alarm. I like to call amygdala the drama queen of the brain because it screams. It's like, oh, no, 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 something ain't right here. Something is not right. And I can't tell if it's a lion or a stage. All I know is that it's danger. And that is where we move into the process of adrenaline release. You start feeling body reactions. Sylvia said her mouth dries out. For me, I feel a knot in my stomach. Some people jitter, they shake. Some people get very talkative. Some just shut down and don't say anything. So the adrenaline release really causes all kinds of reactions. Third instance, the prefrontal cortex. That is the part of the brain, prefrontal, that is responsible for logic thinking. With the amygdala screaming around, we have the choice between being the drama queen or following the path of the prefrontal cortex that is regulating everything. But in order for performance anxiety to occur in like full blown, your prefrontal cortex shuts down. Your planning functionalities kind of dim down. You forget lyrics, like what Olga said. You lose coordination. So anything logic and motoric, you kind of lose control of it. And that's when you enter into what they call one of the 4F responses. We're going to see later that 4F stand for fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Okay. So I put down these descriptions here for you to know what each of these elements in the body and the brain do. So we'll say Lady Amygdala is the drama queen that will send the alarm. Okay. The prefrontal cortex is the planning agent that helps you be logical about everything that you do. Then you have your adrenaline, that hormonal release that, it's not positive, it's not negative, it's just energy. And how it occurs depends on whether we let the amygdala prevail or the prefrontal cortex. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? No questions. Okay. So let's move on from here. I found this image I'm a big visualizer. I need to see things. So I wanted you to see where the prefrontal cortex is. This is the frontal area of your brain. And the amygdala is somewhere deep inside in the center, very discreet, very small, but causes a lot of havoc, of course. So I hope this helps for you to visualize where everything is. Okay? Right. So let's move on to the 4Fs. Fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. That is how your body responds to the perception of danger, the perception of threat, the memory of an event that traumatizes you. That is what triggers the 4Fs. You have fight, you experience conflict. You're crying, you have anger, you have rage, you have a knotted stomach, you have nausea, sometimes you vomit. I'll show you some examples. In the flight instance, it's escape. What is occurring inside of you is so uncomfortable, you need something outward to deal with it. It can be drugs. It can be alcohol. It can be grabbing something. And the way you experience it inside of you is restlessness, anxiety, shallow breathing. I think, Olga, you mentioned also shallow breathing. Right. Okay. We have the freeze response. That comes with dissociation. You feel stuck, you feel numb, you're stiff, you're heavy. Why do I say dissociation? I say this because when you're in the freeze response, it's like you get out of yourself and you are some sort of spectator of the whole event. You're dividing yourself actually. And lastly, the fawn response, also known as the please and appease. You're over apologizing. You're saying yes is where you're supposed to say no, where your body screams no, but you're like, yes, 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 right? You pretend, you deny yourself just so you're accepted. Okay, you're really betraying yourself just so you're accepted. And this is more widespread than we actually think. I tend to believe that there's no perfect profile for every person that experiences it. Many people have experienced a mix of everything. But then there's a predominance in some in each person. Do you have any questions so far? All good? Superb. So let's move on to the examples. I found some examples that are documented. Adele is known for throwing up before concerts. And that makes her a typical fight response profile. I told you about the conflict inside of you. And you have a knotted stomach. It can be throwing up. It can be the fact that you're running back and forth from the toilet. That also can happen. Okay. So the next example, I feel so I feel so sad about him because he passed away just it's yesterday. He passed away yesterday, D'Angelo. D'Angelo, just to explain, because here I wrote escape through alcohol. D'Angelo was a music prodigy from very early on. Grew up a preacher's kid, and very often as a preacher's kid, you have a lot of conflict. You go through a lot of things because you're expected to be an example, and it's a lot of pressure. So he grows up to be this music prodigy who is well acclaimed. He releases this album called Voodoo that goes off the charts, and also releases this video called of a song called How Does It Feel, where he's a good-looking guy. He's topless. Monique is like, yep. I second that. D'Angelo was fine. Put up hearts and thumbs up for D'Angelo. Yes. So he was topless in that video, and what that created actually is the fact that he won wide audiences, but these audiences were less interested in his music, more interested in his body. And as a musician that wants to communicate emotions, messages, prophecies through music, when that is not perceived, that will frustrate you. And that is exactly what happened to D'Angelo. He would experience the his pre concert phases so bad that he would resort to alcohol. He even, I read an interview once where he was asked by a drummer, a very popular drummer called Questlove. Questlove asked him after a tour, "What are you going to do after this tour?" He said, "Listen, I am going to drink as much beer as possible, and I'm going to go fat because I'm tired of this body fetishism." And that's exactly what he did. So I had to give you the context of the alcohol thing because it has to be said. I would hate you, for those of you that don't know him, I would hate you to walk away with D'Angelo was an alcoholic. There's a reason behind everything. So the next case is also very interesting. She's a typical freeze response profile, but the dissociation, she did something out of it. You remember I told you, in the freeze response, you experience your performance and the whole episodes as a third person. So she actually created an alter ego out of that third person. And she's very known to say that when she goes on stage, she is Sasha Fierce. And Sasha Fierce is a whole different personality. Apparently, it is said that she's very shy, but when she enters into Sasha Fierce mode, she is unrecognizable. And I guess that's what makes her performances so impressive. So I think she's a very interesting example on how she actually took her um, the dysfunctional response and did something creative out of it. Okay. Now the last profile for the please and appease response, the phone response, is Selena Gomez. She said herself in an interview, "I think I spent so many years just trying to say the right thing to people for the sake of keeping myself sane. I'm such a people pleaser." Ultimately, I'm happy for her. She got out of it, but it's it's very brave of her to say exactly what it is. So these are the profiles that I wanted to tell you about. Before this, I gave you some examples of the reactions you may face. And I would like each of us to take some time and describe how performance anxiety shows up for each and every person here. And I mean, define your profile your predominant profile, and describe exactly what you go through. Olga started telling us, actually, everybody started telling us, but let's go deep into it. Hopefully, you have a pen and a paper to write that down. There's something about writing the motoric thing, like really imprints things into us, like journaling. So, at best, I would say write down on a pen and a paper. If you don't have a pen and a paper, use your phone or some extra device. And then let me say we have 10 minutes for this, and then we're gonna 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna talk about everybody's experience. How does that sound? You're good? Everybody's good? Superb.
Manusha, do you want to set a timer?
I'm not quite sure.
I think, let me see. Will it allow me to do it from,
Mhm.
I can set the timer. Should I set a
Okay.
timer for 5 minutes?
Yes, please.
All
Five
right.
minutes. Oh, great.
And
Oh,
then I can
superb.
also put some music on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me find something. Do you have a style of music you'd like to hear?
Hmm.
Funky? Something funky?
Something funky, yes.
Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is interesting.
Is it too sad to listen to D'Angelo?
Oh, that's a great
Well,
idea.
actually,
Because I
listen.
would love to.
Well, that's not one of the options. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Hey everyone. I like that. We time is up.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
stop that. Ugh, wait a minute, sorry. Let me stop the music first of all. Okay.
Yes. Welcome to Marion and to Clémentine. We were just in the middle of an exercise where after defining what are the profiles, the typical profiles of people that deal with performance anxiety, everybody had the time to assess where they belong and how they experience it. Is English okay for you? English is okay. Brilliant. So anyway, we're gonna have a replay. You're gonna be able to experience the beginning of the masterclass. Clémentine, how are you doing? We can't see your pretty face and your big hair. I'd like to see your pretty face and your big hair. No? Okay. Okay, so let's get into this. How was this exercise for you? Were you able to get something out of it? Who'd like to start? Qui aimerait commencer? Or should I designate people? I think that's what we're gonna do. Let's start with Sylvia. Sylvia, tell us. Oh, unmute, unmute.
Uh,
Voilà.
sorry. Yes, it's okay now. Yeah.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. So I wrote down anxiety with confusion and forgetting things,
Yeah,
difficulties to concentrate, dry mouth, as I said already.
okay.
And if I have to talk or to sing, I sing talking fast, singing fast.
Mhm.
I think it is rather the flight profile. I think
You mean fight? Because the
fight.
fight,
Sorry, the uh, what was the first
there
one?
was
Fight
fight.
and flight.
There's fight, which is internal conflict. So that's fight. There's flight where you have that's escapism. You
Ah,
have
okay.
freeze where you really have a body freeze and you're dissociating yourself from yourself, and then you have the fawn.
I don't know what it is. Rather internal. So uh,
You're a fight profile,
okay, yeah.
internal
Okay,
conflict. That's how it sounds to me.
okay.
Okay, thanks.
So I write down internal
Yes,
response.
internal. Well, your profile is fight,
Okay, fight.
fight,
Okay,
conflict, and then all the symptoms. This.
okay,
Okay,
okay, okay,
voilà.
okay. Thank you.
Alicia, what did you identify?
Yeah, I guess I identified a few different things, but I think they might be freeze.
Mhm.
One is I'm also a guitarist. Something that's really frustrating for me is that my even if I don't think I'm nervous, my hands and my wrists get tense, and that completely limits my playing and technique when I'm on stage. And the other one is freeze is not the escapism one. That's flight, right?
That's flight, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then flight in a sense that I kind of become a bit of a caricature of myself when I'm on stage, if
Okay.
that makes sense. Like quite and just an intense kind of way of performing and working under a stage name and using makeup and so on and so forth. So it's
That
kind
sounds
of
to me like fawn.
okay.
That
Yeah.
could be, I mean, I may
It's a
be,
lot of fun, but
yeah, yeah,
um
yeah.
yeah.
Because you mentioned overdoing, you mentioned
Yeah.
um, being a caricature of yourself, maybe because you want to come across well.
Yeah.
Because if
Okay.
that's the intention, then it would be fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, there's no not that there are cases where we experience a bit of everything. But then
Mm.
it's good to identify what you're going through, so you can um,
Yeah.
find the antidote. Okay.
Nausea is freeze as well, right?
You said?
Nausea is still freeze? No. It was
I
nausea
didn't hear
freeze?
acoustically what you said before.
Sickness, nausea, vomiting,
Oh,
that's
nausea.
freeze. Yeah.
Nausea is actually fight.
Fight. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah.
you feel tension in your stomach. That
Yeah.
can cause you to have nausea, to vomit, to go to the toilet, that kind of thing. So that's
Yeah.
fight.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm. You're a very interesting case. That means you need a multi-character kind of exit plan for your type of performance anxiety. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, cool. Katie, what's your experience?
Um, I
Mhm.
think for me it's kind of a mix of between a mix of freeze kind of and fun
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a hypersensitive, so so naturally I feel anxiety before going on stage, before singing, and when I'm in such an anxiety, it's like my throat starts to squeeze a little bit.
Yeah.
So I have to think of really opening
Mm-hmm.
like everywhere, but it's really hard. And it depends on the environment as well, the
Mm-hmm.
energies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared sometimes that people maybe don't like me, or it's kind
Yeah.
of mix of both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depend Depends on the energy a lot
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as
I
well.
have to say, for those of you that haven't identified themselves under fawn, don't beat yourself up thinking, "Oh, I'm a people pleaser." What it
Mm.
shows is that you actually care about people, and that you don't experience your performance as something personal. You want to share, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's just that you should not forget yourself in that process. Everything starts with you when from the moment where you are in agreement with yourself. You are in the right, you are in the right direction of your intention. The moment you forget yourself and you deny yourself, that's when it becomes people pleasing. Okay, so it's very good to Hi, Clementine. Thank you for showing us your pretty face. Right. Okay, thank you, Kitty. Sandra.
Alors j'ai j'ai pas enfin, j'ai cru comprendre qu'il fallait décrire ce qu'on ressentait
Oui,
sur avant
décrire ce
de
qu'on ressent et trouver sa catégorie de
de
profil de traction, on peut dire comme ça.
ah oui ben, là pour la catégorie je ne sais pas je vais parce que
Décris-nous ce
du
que
coup comme
tu
voilà
as.
je vais dire ce que j'ai bon. Alors, ben, ce que je ressens, c'est que j'ai du mal à respirer
Mhm.
et j'ai une sensation d'oppression.
Ah,
Alors, la réponse à ça, ben, c'est que je médite en inspirant et en soufflant pour
mhm.
essayer de me calmer.
Très bon réflexe.
Après, la deuxième, c'est que j'ai envie de déguerpir, de prendre mes jambes à mon cou et de faire demi-tour. Et la réponse, ben, c'est que ben, je reste et puis ben, je monte sur scène et puis j'affronte ma peur et puis je souris.
Ah,
Voilà.
mais c'est super, c'est super.
Et
Tu as un profil euh, assez freeze.
oui.
Euh, donc voilà, les quatre profils que j'ai définis sont fight, le conflit, flight, la fuite, freeze, on est tétanisé, on est immobilisé, et fawn,
Mhm.
euh, on exagère comment dire, dans l'intention de faire plaisir. C'est le faire plaisir en exagéré. Voilà. Et
Mhm.
donc, comme je disais, je pense que tu es plutôt freeze, mais tu as déjà trouvé des voies et moyens de, de, voilà, de gérer ce track. D'ailleurs, tu l'as bien fait en juin dernier. I have to tell you about Sandra. Sandra is for me, what we experienced with her was a victory because she went from not even wanting to sing in front of her family to singing on stage. And we experienced a moment when she said right before going on stage, she wanted to run away. But she stuck it through. She had these feelings of being immobilized and her neck was tense. She couldn't breathe well, but she braved it. She braved through it, and she did deep breathing exercises, and that helped her. We're gonna see that later. So yeah, Sandra is she had a great victory this past June. Right. So we also have to hear from Olga and Sandy. Olga, tell us.
I'm afraid I have a lot of things to say. I'll try to make it short. First of all, my symptoms, yes, shaking, dry mouth, forgetting, scaring to forget the lyrics, people judging me. I'm afraid of it, that people will judge me, that I wasn't good enough or something.
Mm-hmm,
I studied in a musical university in for opera singing,
mm-hmm.
and there was like old school. They told me push, push, because I'm high soprano, and push. Don't sing on your vocal cords. Sing by your diaphragm. Now I know that it's not possible. Both of this, yes.
Yeah.
It's because of Monique and Andres Matroel. Andres Matroel met me with Monique, and I'm really appreciative of it. I cannot even imagine what could I do without all those knowledge which they gave me. And because of everything, like I'm sorry, bullshit they gave me in musical university, those false information. I
Mhm,
also have a problems with my ears. I have very terrible disease. I'm losing hearing,
mhm,
and I'm this like it's like when you're doing it for a long time, you're doing it automatically. They're just pushing, and
mhm,
because I'm not hearing enough good enough, I'm
mhm,
pushing because I'm afraid that I cannot hear myself, and probably nobody can hear me, so
mhm,
I'm pushing out my voice, trying to, like, I'm screaming, and that's why I'm losing control of my voice, and that's coming yeah, and this providing me to, oh, people will judge me
mhm,
because I sing not clear. I sing,
mhm,
I'm out of the tune. My voice not really beautiful, sound not really beautiful because I'm screaming, because I'm pushing, because I'm yeah. And this make me lose the freedom on the stage because I cannot feel free because I'm control in my head and in my body. I'm controlling. I'm trying to control so many things.
yeah,
Yes, and come from like operatic soprano.
mhm,
I'm appreciate of Monique. She gave me a lot of things to. She teach me a lot of things, how to transfer my voice, how to put it on a chest, how not using a lot of head,
mhm,
and this also very difficult to control. And this is make me so terrifying, and yeah, and I'm just standing like an idiot on a stage and I'm thinking what I'm freaking doing here, something like that, but I know I'm not bad.
mhm,
Sometimes, yeah, most of the time I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm good because I'm hearing myself on recording and I'm saying, my God, I'm really good.
mhm,
And then I am coming on the stage and I say, no way, I'm terrible. I cannot do that. I'll be out of the tune because I'm too pushy. I'm too doing this everything wrong, and this everything make me so crazy.
mhm,
And yeah, I don't want to run away because I love to being on a stage. I love the people attention. I don't want. I have drying of my mouth, but I'm always have some drink, and I'm drinking a little bit with the small yeah, drinks.
mhm,
But the most important thing, that people will judge me. I'm afraid that I will be disliked by people, that they will judge me like in university, that I'm not good enough. that in university there was a situation. We had some kind of mini concerts. It was the first year, and one lady, she she didn't like me. She doesn't like me from the very beginning, and I just yeah, there was a girl who played piano. She wasn't really professional, and she made a mistake, and I also stopped, and I cannot sing because she made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't came to her, but she came to me, and she said that you took somebody's place in this university. You not deserve it.
Wow.
And that stays in my head for so long time. Even now I'm thinking about it, and it's so painful, and this is constantly returning to me, that maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I better stop with all singing. But then I remember Andres and Monique, they told me that I'm so that I have a wonderful voice, that I'm really talented, and I'm keep doing it no matter what. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is my short story.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of layers.
Yeah.
First of all, I wanted to tell you that um, you seem to me like somebody that deals with fight and with freeze.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to what you've experienced as negative feedback, it has been because it comes from authority figures,
Yeah.
because it's frequent,
Yeah.
it plays into your brain like some brainwashing.
Yeah.
So it feeds the internal naysayers. We're going to see that later. When you've experienced, when your performance anxiety, and that's also my story, when your performance anxiety comes from negative comments that came from um, higher authorities, it can be your parents, it can be your teacher, it can be in a spiritual context, it can be the high priest or whoever. So when you experience that, it really um your brain really registers it as some second truth, and you actually have internal naysayers that are repeating it to you. So I'm going to tell you about a way. It's not a one exercise thing. That's going to be an intention that you have to do several times. You have to learn how to shut the mouths of the naysayers. It has to get out of your system, because all it will do is plague your life, take away your dream. And what happens if it takes away it takes away your money, because you make money out of your dream. So we don't want your pockets to be dry. So yeah, we do. You have the right to live out your dream. You have the right to have your vocal freedom, and we're going to see that later. Thank you very much for your um testimony. That's a testimony, really.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sandy, tell us about your experience.
Well, the main experience that is still prevailing until today is whenever I'm getting nervous before a performance, I have to go pee. Like it feels like I have to go pee. Feels like I have to go pee every 5 minutes or so. At the same time, I'm so thirsty, so I'm making that mistake of either drinking a lot in
Yeah.
the morning, but what if I forget it? Then I prefer not to drink at all,
Yeah.
which is also not a solution.
Yeah.
I am worried that I might get a blackout, that I forget where I am in the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And after the performance, I usually relive it over and over again to see what could I have improved, how did it go, was it good, was it not? And during the performance, sometimes I look into people's faces and are trying to read them and see, do they like it? Shall I continue or not? Like, am I going into the right direction, or I'm looking at the musicians and seeing, are they happy with me? Are we playing well together? And I'm also trying to rate the applause, kind of like, okay, how do I read that clapping? Did they like it or not? And I usually don't get the right impression of how it was
Mm-hmm.
unless somebody that I trust is in the audience and tells me, hey, it was good. You came across as confident. It was good. Even there, when there was a little glitch or so, you were professional and everything. But it takes time for me to that it arrives in my head.
Mhm.
And if there's no person that I can trust, then I'm a little bit lost because it's hard for me to rate myself.
Mhm.
And one experience that I had was I had a solo in a band, and I had a blackout, so I forgot parts of the words,
Mhm.
which was, and it was like a long walkway, like a catwalk. And the first thing that I did, I had a water bottle in my hand. I went to the front, put the water bottle down, and went back to the back and started singing. And while I started singing, I was like, what did I just do? The water bottle was still on front on the floor, and I was like, oh, stuff like that
Yeah.
where I embarrass myself. So I'm honestly, I'm not sure which category I fall into. It might be fight and fawn.
I hear a lot of
What
that.
do you think is it?
I don't think I might be wrong. Maybe you need to judge yourself over more experiences, but I have a strong fight impression of what you describe.
Okay.
And the other thing is your naysayers are so loud that you tend to, I mean, your internal naysayers, they
Ah.
affect how you perceive people around you
Mm.
because you're
Okay.
looking at how people are reacting to your performance and you're expecting the worst. And then it takes someone else to tell you, no, we actually liked it. So they're actually blurring, the naysayers are blurring your perception of things.
Wow. That's interesting. I've
Yeah,
never seen it.
it could be some, I mean, it doesn't have to be someone that said something shocking to you. It could be that you're so overcritical that your judgment of your environment's reaction to your performance is completely skewed.
Hmm.
So you might want to look into that. And
Interesting.
yeah, I can't wait to get to that part where we're actually dealing with all these manifestations. I have to
Cool.
say thank you for sharing all of this with me. It gives us much to work with. So let's move on. So far, do you have any questions? Anybody has questions? Okay. So since we have time till 9:30, I'll try to move on a bit faster so I don't keep you too long here. Okay, so we're done with the activity. Um, right, so now we are getting into the business of turning your fear into your fuel. Okay, I'll start by telling you, before I get to this slide, going back to my experience at the Olympia, I remember this second right before walking out. So I saw the audience. I was very petrified and everything, but I had to go. So it was more of a, oh, I'm so scared. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then there I went. So it was some kind of, I can't really explain. It was an instance of, I don't care if you're scared or not. We are walking out. So yeah, so that's another way of dealing with it. Everybody has their own, you know yourself. They say know thyself. So you know how to deal with things. So let's get into the thick of things. Defining your identity and your purpose. Why am I talking about this? In everything that we do in life, it is important for us. I'm sure you've heard it over and over again, but it's always good to have a reminder. It is very important to know who you are. And from knowing who you are, you will then know what your purpose is. So ask yourself questions like, who am I? Why do I want to sing? What made me want to sing? Who made me want to sing? I can tell you for me, it was my aunt. I have a singer aunt who would walk around the house singing like Ella Fitzgerald. She had one of the richest vibratos ever. And she made me want to sing. Instantly, I was about 7 years old. And I knew that's what I'm gonna do. So know who you are so you know where you're going to. Okay. And that's when you ask yourself questions like, what does music do to me? Where do I see myself performing? Who do I want to perform with? and how do I want to impact with my performances? These are things that will help you not move on an unknown ground anymore. When you know who you are, you know where you don't want to go anymore. Because trust me, you can be the strongest person, and that's also my experience. You can be the strongest person ever if you are in an environment where people are hypercritical of you or you are not well considered. It will play on your performance unless you're the best of actors. Very often, there is it will affect your performance. So I tend to say there's some people you don't need to perform with, but that's left to all of us. So these are the questions I really want you to ask yourselves. Now that you have your pens and your papers, it can be these sample questions. It can be other questions that you come up with in your thinking process. Take this seriously because that's your foundation that you're laying. Okay. So let's move on. Transforming your fear into anxiety. You remember what Professor Fritz said? Anxiety is an emotion without breathing. It's also for me. It's also an emotion without direction. When the energy, the nervousness comes, you have the choice to either listen to drama lady amygdala or to prefrontal cortex. For Clémentine and Marion, we went through some sort of brain science process of how performance anxiety comes up. And there's a point where when you see the threat, you have something called the amygdala that sets the alarm. There's danger. It can't tell the difference between there's a line or it's just a stage where I have to walk to. So you either give into that or you give into your logic center, which is your prefrontal cortex that actually frames everything. You remember your lyrics, you are coordinated, you know exactly what you're going to do on stage, and so on and so forth. So this is where we get to choose. And this is how we cheat the brain, going back to the title. So it is wrong to say that you want to calm down before a show. That's what you do after the show. You don't want to turn off that nervousness energy because that's what pushes you. That's what fuels your performance. Okay. So don't silence your emotion because it's your inner child speaking. Do you know what happens to children that you don't listen to? Oh, they get louder. They get louder, and even when they get, if in the event that you don't listen to them, at some point they're gonna start doing things physically. In my case, I had to notice some of my children cutting my clothes with scissors because I didn't listen to certain things. You don't want to do that with your emotions, so listen to them. Okay. So what you have to, these are the two don'ts. What you should do, you should welcome the energy of it and turn that anxiety into excitement. Move from saying I'm nervous to saying I'm actually excited. Okay, that's your fuel, like I said. Reframe your stage fright. Don't say I'm scared of the stage. I'm ready for the stage. That's your indicator. It's actually an indicator, sorry. And I have to say that performance anxiety comes from the fear of the unknown. They say if you're going to be scared, you have to know what you're scared of. And if you don't know what you're scared of, you better dismiss that fear or you turn that fear into, I'm ready for the stage. Okay. So name the fear. Name the fear. Olga and Sandy mentioned the fear of forgetting lyrics. So the actual bear or lion that you're scared of is the lyric that you forgot. What do you do when you forget a lyric? My technique is I pick the next available lyric that comes to my head. It might not make sense, but at least there's a flow. Sitting on the dock of a mountain. Doesn't make sense. But we don't care if it had a flow. Okay? So you have to trivialize it. It's not that serious. It's just the performance is important, but at the same time, it's not a matter of life and death. there's it's just a performance. Have fun. Have fun with it. Okay? So let's move on. We're talking about inner haters and naysayers. Okay, these negative comments that keep replaying in your head, they rob you of so many things. They rob you of your destiny, of your purpose, of your money, of your self-esteem. It's a thief, and we have to silence them. Where the part where it gets worse is that you actually develop this imposter syndrome that will ultimately make you give up and say, I'm not made for this, and you just put it, you don't want to get to that. So here's how I'd like to propose to you how I um shut the mouths of my internal naysayers. I take a pen and a paper and I write all these oppressive thoughts that come to my mind. I'm not good enough. I can't sing. What am I doing here? Do I even deserve this? Write everything down. It can be 10 thoughts, it can be 100 thoughts. Write all of them down. And for every one of that negative comments, those negative comments, write, take another sheet of paper and you write an opposing positive affirmation. They speak of the I am affirmations because you are taking control of a new identity. I am a great singer. I am in the know of what I'm doing. I am going somewhere. And if the I am is too strong for you, because it could be that it feels conflicting, reading affirmations that don't align with your feeling, because what you feel is like, I'm nothing. So what you can actually do is rewrite into, I am trying to feel like a great singer. I am working towards. So it shows the intention of, I'm getting there. So take this um, exercise very seriously and do it often. It's not a one-off. That is a whole journey. Do it as often as possible. Make it your journaling. Okay, very important. Any questions so far? Good. Okay, so let's move. Okay, there's something we call mental rehearsal. Mental rehearsal for me is just intentional daydreaming. I'm a big daydreamer. When I was in school, my report cards used to read, she's a great student, but she daydreams. Oh, what a daydreamer. She's always out of this classroom. Where is she, So it was bad, Monique, it was bad. I grew up, you too, right? Half of my life, I thought I was an airhead, just daydreaming. I didn't know I had a superpower. Because that same superpower helped me visualize many of the things back then. What I wanted to say is many of the things that I visualized back then I'm doing today because I played it so often in my mind. So let yourself be a kid and really have these ideal representations of yourself. Like Sandy, you said you didn't even know what you were doing with that bottle of water in the front. I bet, I bet the kid in you, if you turn on your 5-year-old self, you will walk up there and do exactly what you want to do. Put the bottle of water in the front and maybe dance around it and tell the people, excuse me, I need to have my bottle of water. You drink and you go back and it's fine and you're at peace with yourself because that's what you wanted to do. So visualize yourself being free with whatever you're going to do on stage. Okay. There's no right or wrong, really. You have to feel free unless you're touring in very rigid conditions. So integrate mental rehearsal into your actual preparation because that doesn't replace it. You're rehearsing, you're reviewing your lyrics, you're going through your vocal warm-ups and you want to perfect the whole thing, but also have these moments where you imagine yourself and you write down what you see. You write down what you see around you, what you feel around you, what you hear. If there's smells that you want to have, you write that down and you make it part of your master plan. and all through daydreaming. Okay. Here's why I took this picture. Who knows who this is? Who recognizes this lady? Ally McBeal. I would like to challenge you to watch the Ally McBeal show, because she is the perfect example of daydreaming. When she's in a conflict situation, she will there will be a scene cut. You see her doing the craziest things. You will actually think she's doing it when actually it's just a product of her imagination, and then you're back to the actual to the real scene. So watch that and see how she just goes crazy with her mind. And I think it's a gift, it's a superpower. And if you don't have that superpower, um feed your mind with ideal things you'd like to see, and replay these and replace yourself with these scenes, these beautiful scenes that you aspire to. Okay, it's like you have an empty bag, you need to fill it up somehow. So feed yourself with the things you want to, you want to be part of your life. So you see, I said visualize on stage with your five senses, right? You picture yourself, you feel what you're wearing, you're tasting your lyrics. I like to say taste your lyric, because for me, sometimes there's some lyrics that are bitter, some that are sweet. So have that experience if that says something to you. You know, it could be gibberish for some people, but for some for whom it makes sense, go on, smell your environment, hear your voice, the music, and if there's a sixth sense that turns on and that tells you how the audience feels, turn that sixth sense on. Okay, so let's move now. It is very important to diffuse the tension. We have the energy, the excitement, but when what is not well directed, you're freezing, and your shoulders are arched up, your neck is tense, your head, neck, spine alignment is completely destroyed, and you need to correct all of this. So you get into deep breathing and meditation for those who do that. You realign your head, neck, spine. So you imagine that there's a thread that is pulling you to the top. And suddenly your head is the captain of your body. And that, I tell you, adjusts your posture on the spot. You can try it right now. Like, okay, my head is the captain. What happens? I'm straightening up. I'm aligned. I'm not straight. I'm not immobilized. I'm just aligned. So I may move the head, the neck, and the spine. They are one axe. Okay? So relax your shoulder and your arm and all your joints. As I said, foot grounding is one thing. You want to feel one with the ground. Have your toes really press on the ground. That's something I learned from Sylvia. Sylvia is a Pilates expert. You might want to reach out to her for that. Foot grounding is really a game changer for me. I say distance yourself from negativity. There's some rooms, some backstage rooms you don't want to be in, where you hear people talking bad about other people, where you hear people putting themselves down before a show, or just negative talk. You don't want that. You want to be in a nurturing atmosphere before a show, a performance. So if necessary, you find a quiet place, you isolated place where you align yourself, right? So let's move on. There's a technique that I wanted to show you, a breathing technique called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. What it does is that is the fastest way to send the message to your body about safety. I'm right where I need to be. I'm relaxed. It's all good. I have nothing to worry about. And this is not something esoteric. It's actually very physical and documented by science. The technique stimulates your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is one nerve that connects the brain to your whole body. It is very crucial. And So once it is stimulated, that calm down effect takes over your whole body, starting from the breathing, sending messages to your brain of we're calm, and the brain tells the whole body we're calm. Okay, so like I said, in other words, it turns on your parasympathetic nervous system. That is the part that is responsible for rest, for recovery, for healing, ultimately for the steadiness of your voice. That's what we want for our performances. So I would like to suggest that we try this technique all together. Are you down for that? Great. So it's very simple. You inhale in 4 counts, you hold your breath on 7 counts, and you exhale on 8 counts. What you could do on the exhalation part is, if you want, you can actually hum a note that you want to, that feels comfortable to you. So I'm going to do the counting, or I'll simulate what I'm going to give you, and you're going to work with it. So I'll go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I made a mistake. The hold, I should have done it on 7 counts, but I'm going to correct it. This is a bit how I'm going to coordinate it. So I'm going to ask you to align your posture, allow your head, your neck, and your spine to be on one nice, harmonious, straight thread. If you want, you can stand up or you sit, but you have that adjustment going on. You can close your eyes if you want. Think of something very, very comfortable and calming, and get rid of any feeling of wanting to prove anything, any feeling of tension, any feeling of grief. Just let go of everything, and we're going to start. Let's go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Then hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and let go. Let go. Let go of everything that you feel holds you from the best version of yourself. Accept that you are enough. Accept that you are not just enough, you are extraordinary, and you are absolutely unique. Accept that the assignment that you have on this earth cannot be replicated. You carry a unique assignment. Somebody needs you out there. So you'd be doing a disservice to the world to hold yourself back from being who you're supposed to be. Okay? So you can open your eyes. And now we're back. How do you feel? You can write in the chat how you feel, or you can say it, unmuting your video, your audio. Hearts, yes. Show me some emojis about how you feel. Any fitting emojis? Nice, nice. Great. Great, great, great. Okay, so let's move on. Sorry. So I would like to take some time, a short period of time, to speak of how we manage the post part of every performance. Why? Because that defines how we face the next one. I like this saying by Andre de Shields. The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing. That means if you have a great performance, pat yourself in the back, but that's not the end. You're still moving on. If you have a bad performance, tell yourself it's okay. This and that went wrong. I'm learning from it. I'm still moving on. That's what I mean. Sorry. So yeah, be your cheerleader. How does it speak to you? Who has been who has had the experience of being their own cheerleader at some point of their lives? Yes. Yes. Ladies, how can we get you? We need to get you to be cheerleaders of yourselves. That is very important. Um, so here's my routine. After I cool down, I actually dissect my performance. It's important to be critical, positively critical of oneself. Celebrate your wins. I cannot say this enough. Even if it's just one win. And the one win can be I actually went on stage, although I was so scared. And I actually finished the song, although I was so scared. So that is worth celebrating. Own your mistakes. Any human that does not make mistakes is a phony, maybe an AI figure. And we are real. So own your mistakes and learn from them, and then you move on. I like to take these two examples because Whitney embodies the person that sang the Star Spangled Banners in the best way imaginable. Like nobody till this day can top her. And Whitney is known to celebrate herself. So I want us to imitate that. I also picked Fergie. Why? Because we also know how her performance was everything but what she wanted it to be. There were many of us experienced secondhand embarrassment because she sounded either drunk or high, or I don't know what happened, but she just did too much. I think she had a fawn moment. She was trying to overplease, and ultimately it became a fail. But even in this situation, I can bet that she in no instance told herself, I need to stop my career. I'm not a singer. She's a great singer. I've heard her. She has a powerful voice. She can her voice can do certain things. So she's where she's supposed to be. And even though the show was we say an epic fail, it's all right. It's just a show. When I have a show failure, my my next step is I need to create enough experiences that negate the failure that I've gone through. So I'm getting back on stage. I'm facing exactly the same songs that were a problem, and I am overcoming them because I sing the song. It's not the song that sings me. So this is the approach we need to have to really stay away from, that really protects us from facing the next performance with past trauma. Okay. Anything you would like to add to that? Anything that inspires you? Any examples you'd like to bring forward? You good? Okay. I recreated, you remember for those that were here, I went through some kind of a process of what happens during the performance anxiety process, the full process that we all experience as a negative occurrence. So this is ideally what we want to get to. We'll have the trigger. We get called on stage. We see the audience waiting for us. And we're completely, something starts. Then the alarm goes off by the amygdala that sends the signal for the adrenaline release. And then instead of giving too much space to the amygdala's noise through techniques like the 478 breathing technique, that's how we actually activate and make the prefrontal cortex dominant. And that is exactly where the healing starts. The healing starts when the logic goes on, you have full control of your lyrics, you are completely relaxed, so you don't have any larynx tightening. You are coordinated and you know what you're going to do. And that's when this awareness turns your fear into fuel for your performance. This is ideally what we want to replicate before every show. Does that make sense to you? Superb. Okay, so we're almost at the end. I kind of made it showing you what I wanted to show you. I want to know, you all told your story. We have yet to hear a story or a testimony about the experience of performance anxiety from Marion and Clémentine. If you would like to tell us how it manifests in you.
Oui, est-ce que c'est possible que je parle français? Peut-être que ce sera
Bien sûr,
plus...
il n'y a pas de souci.
J'arriverai mieux à m'exprimer.
Oui.
Moi, ce que ça me fait penser, tout ça, c'est que du coup, moi, je réfléchis, j'ai tendance à, avant un concert ou quoi, à être plus body freeze. À-
Oui.
à- je sens que je tétanise un petit peu et que je fonds un petit peu intérieurement.
Hmm.
Mais ce que surtout je remarque en plus en discutant là, c'est que j'ai vraiment besoin de rester connecté à l'instant présent. C'est-à-dire que j'ai vraiment ma peur, c'est de plus être dans l'instant présent pour ne plus me sentir vraiment installé dans mes deux pieds sur scène.
Oui.
Et du coup, je vais faire des mécanismes qui vont m'aider à rester dans l'instant présent.
Mhm.
Et du coup, par exemple, parler avec des gens, alors essayer de prendre du temps un petit peu pour moi, mais j'ai peur aussi que quand je prends du temps pour moi, je m'échappe des gens un petit peu et je me déconnecte des gens. Et du coup,
D'accord.
voilà, c'est dans cette idée-là. Et du coup, c'est vrai que j'essaye de rester connecté avec les gens tout en essayant de me détendre, mais de pas couper le contact. C'est ça qui me stresse un peu, de couper le contact et d'être trop, du coup, tourné sur moi-même et de plus être connecté avec les gens et dans l'instant présent. Voilà.
Je
Ça me fait
trouve
penser
ton
à ça.
expérience assez intéressante parce que ce que ça me dit, c'est que j'ai l'impression que tu es dans un profil entre freeze. Freeze, c'est un peu être tétanisé et fawn. Un peu de fun. Le fun, la réponse fun, c'est un peu euh, comment dire, la recherche de l'acceptation extérieure. Or, tout part de toi.
Mm.
Euh, Pourquoi ne pas approcher la chose dans ce sens où tu te dis, euh, je me sens, je me sens bien sans l'extérieur, je suis centré et j'ai assez en moi pour pouvoir donner du spectaculaire à mon public. Tu vois, peut-être que tu te dis indirectement, je n'ai pas assez en moi, j'ai besoin de me nourrir des autres. Je peux avoir tort, hein. Je peux
Mais c'est
absolument avoir tort.
Alors oui, c'est peut-être l'idée aussi que quand là, le style que je fais musical, peut-être me correspond pas totalement, et donc je me fais une idée qu'il faut que je sois un peu une showwoman sur scène, et que ça me correspond pas en fait. Donc je suis un petit peu en décalé, et
Mhm,
donc j'essaye d'être toujours connectée pour être à fond et tout ça.
mhm,
Alors qu'en vrai, je pense que j'aimerais être beaucoup plus posée sur scène et pas forcément faire du show ou des trucs.
mhm,
Voilà. Je pense que je suis un peu en décalage avec ça. fait que je suis pas totalement moi-même, donc je me raccroche aux paroles pour vraiment exprimer des choses, m'adresser pour être connecté. Mais c'est vrai que ce qui me déstresse, c'est de me dire, ok, j'ai pas besoin de faire du show, je peux aussi juste être moi-même sur scène et tout ira bien.
Et
Voilà.
absolument.
Ça.
Et je pense que c'est, voilà, en fait, la voie pour toi. Parce que quelle idée de penser qu'on doit être pas soi
Mm.
pour, pour apporter un plus. Non, on a besoin de toi, en fait. On a besoin de ton authenticité. Donc, j'ai presque envie de dire, les environnements où on attend de toi d'être une showgirl, peut-être c'est à éviter carrément, quoi.
Oui, c'est ça.
On n'a pas besoin
Il y a un peu de
d'elle.
ça.
C'est-
Mm,
Voilà, quoi. Et peut-être que rien qu'en changeant, parce qu'on a parlé de faire attention à quels environnements
oui.
où on performe. Peut-être qu'en changeant justement ça, tu te rendras compte que, en fait, non, j'ai pas de problème de trac.
Mm.
Qui sait? À expérimenter en tout cas.
Disons, oui, c'est ça. Qu'est-ce qui donne le track, ça serait plus ça. Mais
Oui, oui,
effectivement.
oui,
Sinon,
absolument.
c'est pas, ça me submerge pas en général. Le track, si je pense plus à ma place, ça me submerge pas plus que ça.
Ouais,
Mm.
voilà. Oui, donc dans ce cas, chez toi, c'est vraiment un problème environnemental.
Un peu, oui, peut-être.
Tout
Uh,
simplement.
Manusha, maybe you could explain what you said in English for those English speakers.
Exactly.
That was interesting. Before you wrap up and tell them what you have to offer them.
Yes. So we had a very interesting experience where she said she has, before every performance, she has a great need to connect with people around her to calm her nerves. And she also is in the type of performances that she carries out are very showgirlish. And at some point, she actually said, I don't think I'm made for that. And out of that reason, I told her maybe you don't actually have performance anxiety. That's just your body telling you you are not where you belong. Who said you had to be a showgirl? Just be yourself because that's what you need from you. We don't need you to replicate something else. We don't need you to be outside of yourself. Just be yourself. So yeah, it could be sometimes that we have no problem with anxiety. We're just not where we should be. So that's the thing. I did want to see with Clémentine what her biggest takeaway of the day might have been. Quelle a été? Is it okay for you in English?
No, I speak English, but I prefer in French.
Okay, yeah, tell us.
It's more easy. Alors, bonsoir. Donc, moi, mon prénom, c'est Nelly,
Oui.
parce qu'en fait, ça m'est Clémentine, mais c'est parce que
Ah, d'accord, ok,
c'est
Nelly.
Facebook. Donc,
Oui.
en fait, moi, déjà, mon problème, c'était, parce que ça l'est plus, ça a changé, je vais vous dire pourquoi. Mon problème, c'était que j'ai une voix on m'a longtemps interdit, entre guillemets, de chanter, parce qu'il fallait que je travaille à l'école, il fallait pas que je chante, c'était une perte de temps. Mon papa est camerounais, donc c'était
Ah,
vraiment une éducation.
camerounaise aussi, je te comprends.
Oui, très strict. C'est l'école avant tout, c'est pas. Enfin, la musique, tout ça, c'est des trucs, voilà, quoi, c'est secondaire et puis c'est pas intéressant, et voilà. Donc ça m'a beaucoup brimé, ce qui fait que j'ai toujours chantonné très doucement dans ma salle de bain, pour moi-même. Et
Mhm,
c'est que en 2007 que j'ai commencé la chorale dans laquelle je suis, la chorale gospel.
mhm,
Et du coup, c'est la première chose que j'ai dit à mon chef de chœur, je veux juste chanter un peu plus fort qu'on m'entende. Je connais pas ma voix, je sais pas jusqu'où je peux aller, je sais que j'adore chanter, j'arrive à faire, je chante juste, ça je le sais, mais c'est trop faible quoi. Donc, et je sais que intérieurement j'ai quelque chose que je peux sortir. Donc
oui,
ça c'est depuis 2017, j'ai travaillé sur ça, on a fait du coaching, etc.
mhm,
Ce qui est sorti, c'est que j'ai vraiment une voix très très puissante, c'est que je chante juste, c'est que j'ai une belle tessiture, tout ça. Par
mhm,
contre, je suis très timide et je suis terrorisée, tétanisée à l'idée de faire ça en fait aux autres.
mhm,
Ce qui fait que chez moi, je chante, il n'y a pas de souci, je me filme même sur Snapchat et tout,
mhm,
mais le chanter devant les gens, voilà, je ne savais plus comment je m'appelais, je transpire, ma voix tremble, tout ça. Jusqu'à l'année dernière, il y a 4 ans, pardon, il y a 4 ans, j'ai eu un petit garçon et pendant un an, j'ai pas pu chanter du tout parce que
mhm,
mon col était ouvert et du coup, j'avais plus le droit de chanter du tout. Donc en fait, même le peu de puissance que j'avais timidement, je l'ai tout perdu.
mhm,
J'ai recommencé à chanter donc après mon accouchement et là je suis de nouveau enceinte et là mon col est fermé. Donc en fait j'ai passé, je sais pas si j'ai fait un transfert, en tout cas je me suis vengée de ne plus pouvoir chanter pendant ce temps-là. Là pour le coup je peux chanter et en plus de ça je suis enceinte donc en fait j'ai cette excuse là qui fait que bon si je me trompe un peu c'est pas grave, je suis enceinte tout ça. Enfin c'est mais j'ai quand même fait un stage cette année qui m'a révélé beaucoup de choses. C'est un stage avec Nelly Rose. Je ne sais pas si tu connais Nelly Rose,
Nelly Rose, non, ça me dit rien.
camerounaise aussi.
Je
Ok.
dis.
Un stage et le motif du stage, l'objectif du stage, c'était comment dire, je sais plus comment elle avait tourné ça, mais en tout cas, c'était on s'en fout en fait.
Ouais.
Juste chante. À un moment donné, personne ne va te manger. Et au pire, si les gens ils te mangeront qu'avec les yeux. Tu peux pas plaire à tout le monde. D'ailleurs, nous-mêmes, quand on écoute des grandes chanteuses, on aime bien, on sait qu'elles chantent bien, on aime bien, mais il y a des chanteuses qui te touchent. Elle va
Oui.
juste dire, ah, tu vas pleurer, d'autres pas du tout, alors qu'elles
Mhm.
chantent super bien. Et tu peux
Mhm.
pas plaire à toute l'audience. Donc en fait, ta chanson, on s'en fout. Mets-toi là, chante pour toi. L'objectif, c'est que tu profites de ton moment, que tu donnes aux gens ce que tu as envie de leur donner. Ils prennent, c'est bien, ils prennent pas, on s'en fout, en fait. Parce qu'elle me disait, mais t'as peur de quoi? Qui va te faire quoi, en fait? Et je
Exactement.
sais pas, ce stage, je suis sortie de ce stage-là en me disant, mais ouais, mais en fait, je m'en fous. Et ce que j'avais comme stress dans le ventre, le tremblement que j'avais, la peur que ma voix chancelle ou craque, hein, je m'en fous complètement maintenant. C'est-à-dire que j'ai fait tout l'été des concerts, j'en ai fait une dizaine dans des petites, dans une autre chorale, mais beaucoup plus amatrice en fait, où tout le monde avait sa place, tout le monde chantait, il n'y avait pas besoin de faire une performance pour faire. Et je me suis dit, je fais, ça plaît pas. Et ça m'a vraiment enlevé en fait ce truc. Et je me suis dit, mais depuis des années, je suis là, je retiens ça, comme si on allait me manger. Il faut que je plaise à tout le monde, il faut que. Alors qu'en fait, je m'en fous et maintenant, je prends plaisir à chanter et c'est totalement différent. Voilà, ça c'est mon
Ah,
expérience.
bravo. J'ai
Mm,
envie de dire bravo parce que ce n'est pas facile de
non,
braver ces barrières culturelles vraiment où
mm,
on attend de nous de faire profil bas,
c'est ça,
ne pas faire trop de
non,
bruit, être la fille sage
c'est
qui
ça.
fait tout ce qu'il faut. Tu as vraiment, tu as dépassé ça et tu t'es rendu service en
Mm,
même temps à toi et surtout à tes enfants parce qu'ils te
ouais,
regardent.
exactement.
J'ai envie de dire bravo. She just shared a whole story about how we come from the same country apparently,
Mm.
and it's I'm so why am I saying apparently? We do come from the same country, and there's it's a bit patriarchal, where there's this pressure, where women are expected to not make too much noise,
Mm.
have a low profile, do as you're told, don't
Oui.
go out too much, have the right job. There's certain job that me for in certain contexts I'm a riot.
Mm.
I'm too much for some people, but it's okay. I've learned how to accept that. And the ironic thing is that there's a movement in our culture called Bikutsi. Bikutsi is from it's a dance step and a way of being and singing that is originally from I think it's the east of Cameroon if I recall, where it started with circles of women meeting at around midnight and beating the earth with their feet to create the rhythm, and
Mm.
there were circles of women going forward and singing their troubles with their husbands, singing about what they're going through with the kids. Anything you feel like talking about, you sing sort of like a cipher. And that became actually a music genre later on, but it disappeared because of this patriarchal thing that wanted it to be pressed down. We then had in the early 2000s a new breed of female singers readopting that style. And listen, they have the most flamboyant outfits. They dance well. They're great performance and I like to take inspiration from them. So merci beaucoup pour ton témoignage. Thank you very much for your testimony. So we're wrapping this up pretty much and going into an offer that I want to give you to schedule a call with me, and so we can identify how we can work on this performance improvement in your for your career. So this is the link. I'm going to put it in the chat box, and you can schedule right away. Please confirm if you see the link. Do you see the link? Okay, great. Superb. So here we are. Monique, do you have anything to add?
That was fabulous. I wish I had had this work when I was starting out, and I darn near peed myself, and my knees were shaking. And when I got my knees to stop shaking, my hand was shaking with the microphone. And then when my microphone wasn't shaking, it was my jaw, it was my voice, something was shaking. Everything had to shake. So I wish I had not only this information, but somebody who is as caring as you, as knowledgeable as you, and who also has the experience. You know, you actually walk the walk and talk the talk. You know what you're talking about. I wish I had somebody like you when I started out. I would just like to say to everybody, thank you all for answering this call and for taking the first step towards getting your performances to be the way you always dreamt that they should be, all the way you know in the bottom of your heart they should be. Thank you for coming and taking that first step. Please make sure that you copy down her Calendly link, because once we close out this chat, you won't have access to it. Um, but thank you, and make sure you take advantage of this, because Manusha is, as you can see, she's very knowledgeable, and she's sung on some of the biggest stages in the world. She knows what she's talking about. What can I say, Manusha? Thank you so much for everything. This has been a wonderful journey, and it's just the beginning.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for offering me this opportunity to connect with these beautiful women. Like she said, please copy the link. Let's have a talk of how we can get you to walk up that stage and say, "Hey, ready or not, here I come, you can't hide." As the lyrics say. Right.
Right.
So that'll be all for me unless you have closing questions.
My only thing to say is just book the call.
Book the call, book the call.
The call.
Marion has a question.
Oh, okay.
But just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I think we're done. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank
And
you, everybody.
stay wonderful.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, wait. Did you, Manusha, did you take us